The station is already awake. Long before any human voice drifts through its narrow corridors, before the first checklist is opened beneath soft white lights, before the earth below turns blue with morning, the station is already awake. If these quiet journeys through space help you slow down at the end of the day, take a gentle moment to subscribe and let this channel become part of your nightly routine. Now, settle in. The station is already awake. Long before any human voice drifts through its narrow corridors, before the first checklist is opened beneath soft white lights, before the earth below turns blue with morning, the station is already awake. Somewhere inside the endless machinery of the International Space Station, a fan hums quietly into the darkness. Air moves gently through metal lungs. A cooling pump circulates water through hidden pipes no wider than a human wrist. Gyroscopes spin in silence. Solar panels slowly turn toward the distant sun. And above the sleeping planet below, a structure built by thousands of hands continues its careful orbit through the vacuum of space. Tonight, you are not here to rush. You are not here to solve anything. You are simply drifting. Drifting beside one of the quietest engineering miracles humanity has ever created. Far below, cities glow like scattered embers across the curve of Earth. Entire countries pass beneath the station in minutes. Thunderstorms bloom over oceans. Tiny ships crawl through dark water. Mountain ranges disappear beneath clouds. And inside the station, nothing truly stops moving. Not the air, not the water, not the electronics, not the careful systems that keep human life alive in a place never meant for breathing. The station moves at more than 17,000 miles per hour. Yet, from inside, it feels almost still. Only the occasional vibration of machinery reminds the crew that around them is pure vacuum. The place so silent that without the station's mechanical heartbeat, there would be nothing at all. But inside orbit, nothing rises. Lithium hydroxide systems once carried part of this burden. Now, more advanced recycling systems help clean the air. Every breath aboard the station becomes part of a carefully balanced equation. On Earth, water feels endless. It falls from the sky, flows through pipes, fills rivers and oceans. Sweat from skin, tiny droplets floating through the cabin. All of it is captured, filtered, purified, and returned. The station drinks from itself. An endless quiet loop of survival. Somewhere inside the walls, pumps push water through cooling systems. Without cooling, electronics would overheat. Heat cannot escape naturally in space.
There is no air outside to carry warmth away.
So, engineers created giant radiator panels stretching outward from the station like metallic wings. Heat travels through liquid cooling loops out toward the radiators, then slowly radiates into the infinite cold of space. The strange paradox. The station floats beneath harsh sunlight, hot enough to boil surfaces, while only meters away exists cold, deep enough to freeze metal. And somehow, between those extremes, human beings sleep peacefully. The station circles Earth roughly every 90 minutes. 16 sunrises, 16 sunsets, every single day. Morning arrives quickly in orbit. One moment, the windows reveal only darkness. Then, suddenly, a thin line of electric blue appears along Earth's horizon. The atmosphere glows softly. Layers of orange, gold, indigo. A sunrise unlike anything seen from the ground. The light spreads rapidly. Clouds ignite with silver edges. Oceans shimmer. Entire continents drift silently beneath the station. Then, just as quickly, night returns. And during those long orbital nights, the station becomes something else entirely. A small island of human warmth, surrounded by endless black. Beyond the windows are stars untouched by atmosphere. Sharp, steady, infinite. No twinkling, no flickering.
Only ancient light, crossing impossible distances.
Inside the station, computers monitor nearly everything. Temperature, pressure, humidity, oxygen levels, water purity. Every system quietly reporting its condition. Station is not one machine. It is thousands of systems layered carefully together.
Modules built in different countries.
All connected into a single drifting laboratory. Another holds newer touchscreen systems. Water becomes floating spheres. So, astronauts move with extraordinary patience. Velcro holds objects in place. Float beside workstations. Everything has a position. Everything has a purpose. Laptop screens glow softly. Fans continue their endless breathing. A faint vibration travels through the structure. And outside, Earth continues turning. The Pacific Ocean passes below like liquid darkness. Lightning flashes silently within distant storms. Cities drift across continents in golden webs. Sometimes astronauts wake briefly during orbital night, floating gently inside sleeping compartments no larger than phone booths. A sleeping bag attached vertically to the wall. No mattress, no pillow beneath the head. Without gravity, the body simply rests suspended in air. Arms drift weightlessly. Hair floats softly. There is no pressure against muscles or bones. Some astronauts say it feels almost like sleeping underwater. Others describe it as hovering between dreams. The station itself behaves almost like a living organism. It regulates temperature, processes waste, recycles air, maintains balance, responds to damage, adapts constantly. Tiny micrometeoroids occasionally strike the outer hull. Most are smaller than grains of sand. Yet, at orbital speeds, even dust carries enormous energy. Protective shielding surrounds critical areas. Layers of material designed to absorb impacts before they reach pressure walls. A quiet armor against invisible dangers. Outside the station, robotic arms drift with slow precision, controlled carefully from inside, or sometimes from Earth itself. Their movements are almost graceful, slow enough to appear peaceful, strong enough to move thousands of pounds in zero gravity. Every movement calm. It continues circling endlessly above forests, deserts, oceans, ice caps, storms, and cities. Passing over crowded highways, passing over quiet villages. Yet, inside that moving light are laboratories, sleeping quarters, exercise machines, scientific experiments, storage compartments, communication systems, and years elsewhere aboard the station. Crystals grow differently in microgravity. Even simple fluids behave unpredictably. A place where physics reveals itself differently. Imagine looking through the cupola. 7 windows facing Earth. Perhaps the quietest room in orbit. Astronauts often pause there between tasks, not because they have time to waste, but because the view below feels impossible to ignore. The Sahara glows gold beneath sunlight. Auroras ripple green across the poles like curtains of light. At night, Cities trace coastlines in amber patterns.
Roads reveal themselves through thin lines of illumination.
Lightning flashes endlessly within cloud systems. The planet breathes beneath the station. And above it all floats this fragile framework of metal and air. The engineering behind the station required astonishing precision. Docking two spacecraft in orbit is like connecting moving bullets with millimeter accuracy. Every trajectory calculated carefully.
Every adjustment timed perfectly.
Thrusters fire in brief, controlled bursts. Tiny corrections, changing paths across thousands of miles. Sometimes cargo spacecraft arrive, carrying food, experiments, equipment, replacement parts, and letters from Earth. Fresh fruit becomes a luxury. A simple orange can feel extraordinary after months in orbit. Astronauts gather floating pieces carefully before juice droplets escape into electronics. Even eating becomes different in microgravity. Tortillas replace bread because crumbs are dangerous. Small packets of sauce drift through the air. Coffee travels in sealed containers. Everything is designed around the reality of floating life. Exercise is essential aboard the station. Without gravity, muscles weaken. Bones slowly lose density. So astronauts spend hours each day exercising. Harnesses hold them against treadmills. Resistance machines simulate weightlifting. Bicycles spin silently through the modules. The station contains entire systems dedicated not only to survival, but to preserving the human body against space itself. Even sound behaves differently aboard the station. Not because physics changes inside the air-filled modules, but because there are no natural outdoor sounds. No wind, no rain, no distant traffic, only machinery, fans, soft mechanical tones layered together into a constant electronic lullaby. The station's sounds become proof of life.
Proof that systems continue functioning.
Proof that orbit remains stable. Not a luxurious one. Every panel mapped carefully, because in orbit, confusion wastes time, and time connects directly to safety. Emergency procedures become instinct. Docking operations. Spacewalk preparation. Tiny pathways guiding floating bodies through the station. A gentle push can send someone drifting the length of a module. So, astronauts learn graceful efficiency. Small motions, small corrections, everything calm, everything controlled.
At times, the station fires its thrusters to raise orbit slightly.
Earth's upper atmosphere, though thin, still creates tiny amounts of drag. Over time, the station slowly loses altitude. So, engines aboard docked spacecraft push the structure higher again. A quiet correction against gravity's endless pull. Sometimes astronauts simply watch storms. Huge spiraling hurricanes turning across oceans. Lightning storms pulsing inside cloud towers. Weather systems large enough to cover entire countries. From orbit, borders disappear. No lines separate nations. No walls divide continents. Only oceans, mountains, clouds, rivers, and thin atmosphere glowing delicately around the planet like fragile glass. Many astronauts describe a strange emotional shift after seeing Earth from orbit. A feeling of unity, fragility, perspective. The station quietly offers that perspective every 90 minutes. Again, and again, and again. The engineering teams on Earth never truly stop working either. Flight controllers monitor systems continuously. Specialists watch temperatures, orbital paths, electrical systems. Communication networks, life support. Every minute of every day, entire rooms filled with glowing screens quietly support the station from thousands of miles below.
The partnership between orbit and Earth.
Sometimes communication delays create small moments of stillness.
An astronaut floats near a window, waiting for instructions.
Ground control reviews data. Sunlight glides across solar arrays. And somewhere deep inside the structure, cooling pumps continue their endless circulation. The solar panels themselves are engineering marvels. Batteries store power for orbital night. Electricity flows constantly through the station's nervous system. Communication would fade. Heat regulation would fail. So, power management becomes a kind of quiet ritual, maintained carefully. Clocks become anchors. Soft alarms guide waking hours. And yet, outside the windows, Earth continues its ancient turning, completely unaware. Snow falls across mountains. People below eat dinner, drive home, dream. Sometimes tiny maintenance tasks take extraordinary effort. Updating software. Nothing aboard the station remains simple for long. Even wiping a surface requires care because droplets can float away. Yet, through repetition, the crew creates normalcy. Human beings adapt remarkably well. A floating photograph taped beside a workstation. A favorite song played softly through headphones. A handwritten note drifting gently near a sleeping compartment. Small reminders of Earth carried into orbit. There is something deeply calming about systems that continue working quietly in the background. Perhaps that is part of the station's strange beauty. Most of its greatest achievements are invisible. Air cleaned without notice. Temperatures stabilized silently. Trajectories adjusted precisely. Radiation monitored constantly. Thousands of hidden operations maintaining a fragile pocket of life. The station teaches patience. Nothing moves quickly unless it must. Astronauts speak calmly. Tools move slowly. Procedures unfold carefully. In orbit, rushing creates mistakes. And so, the entire environment encourages steady rhythm. A drifting choreography of engineering and trust. Imagine floating alone through one of the quieter modules while the rest of the crew sleeps. Laptop screens dimmed. Small indicator lights glowing green. Soft airflow brushing past your face. Beyond the hull lies complete darkness, interrupted only by stars. Below, Earth glows blue against black infinity. For a moment, the entire world appears peaceful. No noise reaches orbit. No crowds.
Above them, this carefully engineered outpost continues its endless path.
Perhaps it is emotional.
Every docking maneuver required coordination.
The infinite blackness beyond the station can seem intimidating at first. The universe is unimaginably large, and within it drifts this tiny, illuminated shelter, carrying human curiosity through darkness. Sometimes astronauts photograph Earth for hours. Auroras dancing above polar regions. From orbit, even familiar places become dreamlike. Cities resemble constellations. Rivers appear like silver threads. And the atmosphere itself looks incredibly thin. Even the smallest particles move incredibly fast in orbit. Space is not empty. It contains drifting fragments of rock, ice, dust, and old machinery. Ground teams constantly track larger debris. Occasionally, the station performs avoidance maneuvers. Small orbital adjustments, steering away from danger.
Even while sleeping, the station remains alert.
The station also carries stories, laughter floating through modules,
Holiday meals shared in orbit.
experiments succeeding, experiments failing, quiet conversations beside windows, moments of homesickness, moments of wonder. Human life continues even this far above Earth.
Some astronauts bring musical instruments.
Soft melodies drift through the ventilation hum.
Others record messages for family.
Some simply watch Earth in silence.
No matter how advanced the engineering becomes, humans aboard the station remain deeply human. Curious, thoughtful, sometimes tired, sometimes amazed. The station's orbit is not perfectly fixed. It tilts around the Earth in a path that allows it to pass over different regions. People below occasionally step outside at night and see it crossing overhead. A bright, moving star.
No blinking lights. No engine noise. Just steady motion. Many never realize how much life exists inside that small point of light.
How many systems are operating at that exact moment?
How many calculations keep it safely moving? How many engineers continue monitoring it from Earth?
Crew members float from sleeping compartments.
Communication loops activate.
Another orbital day unfolds. Another sequence of maintenance, science, exercise, observation, and careful routine. And still, this station continues its silent engineering. Always moving. If you stayed long enough aboard the station, perhaps you would stop noticing the hum.
Tiny droplets floating like crystal spheres. Its heartbeat continues, and somewhere inside that drifting structure, another fan quietly turns in the darkness. Computers listen. Humanity drifts carefully through the infinite night.
And for now, everything aboard the station remains calm.
Everything remains quietly alive. Imagine the steady rhythm of the station, the endless orbit, the soft hum of machinery. No rushing, no rushing, no urgency. Only motion, only darkness, only the gentle, mechanical heartbeat of humanity's silent home among the stars. Far below, clouds continue drifting across continents. Rivers continue carving through valleys. Cities continue glowing against the night. But here in orbit, suspended between sunlight and shadow, the station keeps moving through infinity with patient precision. Orbit after orbit, breath after breath, night after night, and somewhere beyond the windows, stars older than humanity continue shining silently across the endless dark. The station drifts onward beneath them, small,